Okay, Postal268 here with another video. These are some things I've added to my car, and I'm really wanting to clean all this up. I don't like how messy this wiring is, and hopefully I'll be able to get this a little cleaner, not 100%. So I've got Voltmeter that's over here that I have installed. That's wired in up here. There is an inverter there, but I'm getting rid of the inverter because it no longer works. My amp is hooked up here, and this wire goes to the battery. Now I know that's not exactly it's not like a big stranded wire, it's a solid 12 gauge, but it's what I had at the time. And this right here is to a solar panel, so a quick disconnect. And I have the solar panel up here because I was having a lot of issues with parasitic drain and I just couldn't find it. It ended up being the horn for some reason. But over here I have permanently installed a jump box. And this I bought a quick disconnect for it as well. Let me getting this charge cable out of the way. I've also got something that's going to clean up all my charge cables into just one cable, so those will be reduced. But yeah, so I have this permanent little charge battery, which it only weighs like maybe 5 pounds, and I took off about, I'd say at least 15 pounds with that smaller battery that I got on the car, so I'm not too concerned about the added weight. But yeah, I want to clean all this up. I tried to jump the car off using this tiny little disconnect wire. It does work if the battery's not that dead, but if it's completely dead, it doesn't. So I've got here a thicker gauge disconnect that's going to go for the bottom portion, and that'll hopefully clear things up a bit. And yeah, I've also got here a fuse box that I'm going to hopefully be replacing the inverter with. And this will hopefully also make all of the wiring look cleaner, since it's not all going to be tangled up in one tiny little spot. So yeah, something that's highly recommended before doing any work to any wiring: disconnect the battery. Alright, so a quick explanation of how this works and how you'll typically be using it is that you have the positive lead, which if you haven't already run wires, since I ran a wire, but it was Romex, which is for a house, it has multiple wires in it. But typically you'd only really need to run one wire from here to the positive of the battery. Then you would take this wire and find anywhere inside the car to ground it to metal. It'd make things a lot easier. In my case, because I ran this wire that had 2 wires in it, I just hooked up one end to a ground out there and one end to the positive here. So now I have all of these are for ground, for negative, and then all of these are for positive. So in the case of this, which is my little voltmeter that I have installed in the dashboard, I will be hooking this to here, and it's negative to here. And it doesn't matter what negative you use, you can connect it anywhere. It's just once you hook it to the positive, you'll have to put in an appropriately sized fuse or it won't work. Which they include a bag of fuses. Here we go. They include a bag of fuses. So I don't think I'm gonna go very high. The voltmeter, it does have USB ports on it, but yeah, I don't think it's going to need maybe more than a 5 amp fuse at most. But yeah, this will allow me to add more things like my dash lights, things like that. If you're wondering about all this, this goes to my amplifier, which already has a fuse on the line, and it's such a large connector, I just went ahead and hooked it straight to the battery. And this one is the quick disconnect for my solar panel charge and my Jumpstart. So these can just bypass fuses, they don't need a fuse. But anything else, if you want to install LED lights or anything else that needs power, this will make it easier, because all you got to do is run something to here, unscrew that like so, just get a screwdriver, bolt it down, bolt your positive here and stick in a fuse and you're ready to go. Hard part's going to be finding a spot to securely locate this to that is still easy to get to, but I have all of that gap back there that inverter was sitting in. Luckily, I love on the CRX how much just open space there is behind the radio and everything. So now that I've given you an explanation of how this works, I'm going to go ahead and just, because the only thing I have left to do is hook up the positive for the voltmeter, but the wire's a little short. So I'm just going to tuck it up in there, find a good spot, see what looks good before I decide to permanently bolt it down or anything. And I'm actually going to be changing this carpet anyways. This carpet's messed up, it's not put in here right, and I have another carpet that's black, so I may not actually permanently screw this down just yet, but yeah. Alright, I've gotten it all buttoned together and scooted back up in there. Now this is obviously far from perfect. I'm not 100% done, but it is way better than what I had before. There's some other wires in here. I've got to just get these wires that are all dangling around sort of zip tied together and pushed up onto the dashboard. There isn't much I can do about this. I'm going to route this under the carpet once I change the carpet, but this will kind of always be visible. But I'm willing to kind of sacrifice a little bit of appearance in here just to be able to push a button and jump start my car. It's just very convenient. Okay, I have an old bad battery hooked up because I don't want to run my battery dead to test the jumper cables. So turn on the voltmeter. And hit the button. Alright. We've got some charge, but let's see if it'll crank. Yeah! Oh, I'm happy with that. Alright, now to try to clean up my charge cables, I have gotten a pack of, that's for iPhone. I didn't realize I had iPhone in here. Anyway, so it's a pack of these little ends that are magnetic. Let's see, here's the micro USB. Now I have a phone up here that I use as a dash cam, and I'm gonna find the right direction and get. I should just move over there and look. One thing I hate about micro USB, if it's not straight in the direct. Okay, all right, there we go. Never deal with that again. So it's got that little magnetic piece in there, and then here is the charge cable, which just magnets on. And if you notice, I got red so that it looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing in here. The only thing left to decide is if I want the 6 foot or the 3 foot, because the 6 foot I could possibly route the wire up and have it come straight down the middle. I don't know, I'm gonna think about that real quick. But also, when my phone is on the phone stand here, I can stick one of these inside of my phone. If I need the charger, just click and click. And I did have this to hold my charge cable. I had 2 cables in here, but I think I'm just gonna reduce it down to 1 because I have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. It's not too often I need to charge it, except sometimes I forget to charge it overnight. So yeah, but I might just take this back out. Alright, so here's the configuration that I settled on. I just ran it in here. It's behind the glove box, but pops out here, comes up, and goes up to the dash cam. So it's not just coming straight across anymore. And I still have enough extra that if I need to, I can grab it and just plug it into my phone. So I decided to go on the extra long one. I probably will figure out a better way of routing the cable later. It's just starting to rain and I need to get inside. But overall, it looks way better than it did before. And I still have work to do with just simple zip tie and cable management and finding a place to permanently screw down the box, which I mean it's probably going to be about right there, but I need to secure it down. But either way, this looks leaps and bounds better than it did when I started. And I have more of these cables with the magnets I'm going to be taking inside. The set came with 4 of them, so I don't have to take the magnet piece that's in my phone out when I leave my car. If I go inside and use my charge cables inside, I still have magnet cables to use. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to find a different way to route this cable later. This is just, luckily the rain let up, so I've got a second longer. Oh yeah, if you're curious about my dash cam, I do have it plugged into this because I'm using up the cigarette lighter, and I already have things plugged in here, so it's just plugged into this box. But I can turn it on while the car's off, and
recording started.
Whenever it receives power, it starts recording, because the USB ports automatically turn on once you're charging it to the cigarette lighter. And if you turn it off,
recording stopped.
And I like how the cable lights up to let me know it's charging. So, yeah, this has been a walkthrough. Well, not exactly a walkthrough, just me showing you some stuff I'm working on my car. It's been Postal 268, and thanks for watching.